far away from the main space routes, hidden deep in a forgotten part of the galaxy. There was a broken place called Outpost 9. No one visited it now. The walls were cracked, the power flickered, and the cold silence filled every room. It was once a science station, but something had happened there, something no one wanted to talk about, in the lowest level of the outpost. Beneath rusted steel floors and locked doors, there was a pit. It was dark and deep. In that pit, something moved. Her name was Mira. She was not fully human. She was not fully alien either. Right. Her skin was pale, and her eyes glowed softly in the dark. She had wings like a giant bat, long and strong, but too weak now to lift her. Her fingers were sharp. Her ears were long and could hear even the smallest sounds. She had been left there years ago. She remembered voices cold, angry voices from the ones who made her. She's not stable. It's too much human emotion. She will ruin everything. Lock her down and leave. They were afraid of her. It's not because she hurt someone, but because she could choose. Because she asked questions. Because she cried. They called her an error. A mistake. A project gone wrong, and then they left. Mira lay in the corner of the pit. She had not spoken in many days. Her strength was low, but her heart still beat. She was not just a creature. She remembered things: voices, music, the warm touch of someone who once smiled at her during her training. That man was gone too. She never saw him again after they locked the doors. The floor above her creaked. Her ears twitched. It was not the wind. Someone was walking above. For the first time in a long time, her eyes opened fully. She moved closer to the wall and listened. Far above her, a small shuttle had crashed outside the outpost. A man named Tom climbed through. A broken window. He was not a soldier. He was a repair worker. Simple and honest. He had been on a mission with a salvage crew, but a solar flare hit his ship and knocked out its power. He needed shelter. He needed tools. Outpost 9 looked empty. The lights blinked. Dust floated in the air. His boots echoed on the metal floor. He moved carefully, using a flashlight to see in the dark halls. But strange things caught his eye. Broken doors, melted locks, and deep claw marks on the walls. "This place feels wrong," he whispered. Still, he moved deeper inside. His wrist. Monitor beeped. A power source was still active below. Maybe he could use it. He found a staircase, rusty but standing. He followed it down. Mira heard the steps grow louder. She backed into the shadows. Her wings folded tightly around her. Her heart beat faster. Was it another scientist? Another soldier? Or was it something worse? But then she heard a voice. It was quiet and confused. "Hello? Anyone down here?" It was a man, not angry, not shouting, just lost. She waited. He reached the edge of the pit. He shined his light down. His beam caught her eyes. He gasped. "What the?" Mira blinked, but she did not growl. She did not move forward. She just spoke. Her voice was dry, soft, and slow. "Please don't leave me here." Tom froze. His mouth opened slightly. "You can talk?" She nodded. "Yes." He looked around. There were no guards, no machines, just this strange creature with a sad voice and tired wings. "What are you?" he asked. Mira stood slowly, her wings stretched, out for balance. She looked up at him. "I was made here, but they left me." Tom didn't run. He didn't scream. He stared at her, then said, "I'm not with them. I just crashed. I didn't know this place had ... anyone." She tilted her head. "You are human." He nodded. "Tom, I fix things." She said her name too. "Mira." There was a pause. Then Tom pulled out a small rope from his bag. He tied it to a pipe and dropped it down. "Can you climb?" Mira looked at the rope, then at him. Maybe it took effort. Her claws were weak. Her arms shook. But step by step, she reached the top. Tom held out his hand. She hesitated, then took it. Her fingers were cold, but her grip was firm. For the first time in years, Mira stood. Outside the pit, Tom gave her his jacket. "You're freezing." Mira looked at the cloth like it was something rare. She wrapped it around her shoulders. Tom asked carefully, "Why did they lock you down there?" She didn't answer at first. Then she said, "Because I'm not just alien, I'm also human. They feared that part." Tom looked at her again. Yes, she had wings. But her face was soft. Her eyes were curious. There was nothing angry in her voice. "I don't think you're dangerous," he said. Mira looked at him with wide eyes. "You're the first one to say that." Far away, in a forgotten control room, a red light blinked on. The security system had just activated, and it had detected that Project Myra had escaped. End of part 1. Tom and Mira moved slowly through the dark hallway of Outpost 9. The walls were covered in old stains and deep scratches. Pipes hissed as they passed. Some lights flickered above them, giving short glimpses of Mira's tall shadow and wide wings. Tom kept glancing at her, but he didn't run. He had seen strange things in space, but never anything like her. "You walk quiet," he said. "I was trained to," Mira replied. Tom nodded. "For fighting?" Mira looked ahead. "Yes, but I never wanted to hurt anyone." They walked into an old lab room. Dust covered the machines. Broken glass crunched under their feet. Mira looked around with slow, careful eyes. This room brought back memories. She once sat in that chair. She was hooked to that machine. The scientists tested her every day. They asked questions. Sometimes they smiled. But one day all the smiles stopped. That was the day they called her a failure. Tom looked at one of the monitors. "What were they doing here?" Mira answered. "They wanted to make a perfect being. Strong like aliens, smart like humans. A survivor. Did they succeed?" She turned to him. "They made me." Tom didn't know what to say. Myra wasn't a robot. She wasn't a monster. She was Reland full of sadness. Suddenly a loud beep echoed through the hallway. Red lights flashed above them. Mira froze. "They know I'm out." Tom stepped back. "Who knows?" "The system." It woke up. A voice came from an old speaker in the wall. Security alert. "Project Myra has breached containment. Termination protocol online." What? Tom stared at the speaker. Termination. Myra's eyes narrowed. "We have to move now." They ran. Myra moved fast despite her weak state. Her wings folded tightly behind her, and her bare feet made no sound. Tom followed, doing his best to keep up. Behind them, heavy doors slammed shut. Metal arms dropped from the ceiling. Defense drones lit up red. One of them floated into the hall ahead and locked on Mira. Target found. Fire. A blue light shot forward. Mira grabbed Tom and pulled him into a side room. The beam hit the wall and burned through it. "That thing wants to kill you," Tom shouted. Mira's voice was calm. It was programmed to. She kicked open a side panel. "This way." They crawled through a narrow vent. Sparks rained down. As the drone outside searched for them, inside the vent, Tom asked, "Why would they program it to kill you?" "You're not dangerous," Mira answered softly. "They feared what I could become." Tom looked at her. "What do you want to become?" Mira paused before answering. "Free." They reached an exit panel and dropped into a hallway near the outer deck. Broken windows showed the night sky. The stars were bright, and Tom's crashed shuttle could be seen in the distance. Mira moved toward the door but stopped. "I've never been outside since they locked me in." Tom blinked. "You been inside this place for years?" She nodded slowly. "I stopped counting." Tom opened the door. The cold wind touched Mira's face. Her wings stretched out. Fully, for the first time in a long while, she breathed in the night air. "I remember this feeling," she whispered. They walked toward Tom's shuttle, tapped his wrist monitor, trying to call his crew. "If I can boost the signal, maybe someone can hear us." Mira said nothing. She watched the sky. Then quietly she said, "They won't let me live." Tom looked up. "Who?" "The ones who made me. The ones who called the military to erase me." "You don't know that." Mira turned to him. "They erased the others. I heard them talk." I was not the only one. I'm the last. Tom felt it chill. They made more like you. Myra nodded. But they were afraid of all of us, so they ended them. Tom stared at her. She was not just a science project. She was a survivor, left behind, hunted behind them. Another drone rose from the ground. It had followed them through the vent system. Its voice echoed. Final warning. Target will be destroyed, Tom shouted. Run! But Mira turned toward it. Her eyes glowed faintly. Her wings spread wide. The drone fired. Mira jumped forward and took the hit for Tom. The blast threw her back. Her body hit the ground hard. No. Tom ran to her. The drone moved closer. Second shot ready. Tom grabbed a pipe from the ground and swung it at the drone. Sparks flew, and the machine dropped. He turned to Mira. She was breathing weak. But alive, you saved me, he said. Mira smiled faintly. You didn't scream when you saw me? Tom helped her sit up. I'm not going to leave you. Mira looked at him for a long moment. Then you're the first. They limped toward the shuttle together. Tom patched the power cables. The engine was still cold, but some systems came online. He opened a communication channel and sent out a message. Distress signal. Outpost 9. I have a survivor. Not human. Not hostile. Needs help. We'll find someone. Who listens? Mira closed her eyes and whispered, I hope so. Above them, a red satellite turned. It had picked up the signal, but so had the ones who created her. End of part 2. The night around Outpost 9 was quiet again. Stars hung above like cold watchers. Tom sat by the broken shuttle, checking wires and blinking lights. The air was dry. The signal was still weak, but he had sent the message. Inside the shuttle, Mira rested. Her body still ached from the drone's attack. Her wings had burn marks. Her side was bruised. But even through the pain, she felt something strange - hope. No one had ever saved her before, and she had never saved anyone. Until now, Tom entered the shuttle holding a small metal box. Found some medkits in the old storage room, he said. Mira sat up slowly. Thank you. Tom cleaned the wound on her arm. It was strange helping a creature with wings and glowing eyes, but to him Mira didn't feel like a monster. She felt real and somehow more human than many people he had met. I don't understand, he said. If they wanted to make something strong, and you are strong, why leave you behind? Look down. Her voice was soft. They said, I had too much feeling. I asked too many questions. I cried during tests. I didn't follow commands like a machine. Tom shook his head. That's not weakness. That's being alive. Mira smiled a little. Not to them.
Wanted
A weapon that could fly, fight, and obey. I was not that. You didn't want to fight? No, she said. I wanted to see the stars. I wanted to understand why I was made, but they didn't like that. Tom stood up and looked outside. Called you a failure, but I think they were afraid. Mira tilted her head. Afraid of what? Tom looked back. That your human side would make you more powerful than they could control. As they spent the next few hours fixing the shuttle's systems. Myra's long fingers helped with the fine wires. She understood technology quickly. Her brain worked faster than normal humans, but she had never been allowed to use that skill before. Tom gave her a datapad. This has maps, language files, and some Earth music. Mira touched the screen gently. I've heard of Earth, is it real? Tom chuckled. Of course. It's my home. Is it warm? She asked. Some parts, he said, some cold, some green. It has oceans, birds, cities, and sky you can fly in. Mira looked out the window. Her wings twitched. I want to fly, not to run or fight, but just to feel the air. Tom nodded. We'll get you out of here. Suddenly, a sharp beeping sound filled the shuttle. Tom checked the monitor. Signal. Picked up. Someone heard us. Mira's eyes lit up. Your crew? Tom's face turned serious. No, not my crew. It's a bigger ship. Mira stepped forward. Military. Tom scanned the code, yes, and it's coming fast. In the command deck of a large battleship. Commander Bryn read the signal report. He was an old man, with a straight back and a cold stare. He had once worked on the hybrid project. He had signed the order to shut it down. Project Mira is alive, an officer said. Signal came from Outpost 9. A civilian may be with her. Prepare a cleanup. Team, Bryn said. Cannot let this become public. Back at Outpost 9, Tom paced inside the shuttle. They're not coming to rescue us. They're coming to erase everything. Mira said nothing. She just stared at the stars. Tom turned to her. We need to leave before they get here. The voice was calm. Your ship can't fly yet. We both know that. Tom clenched his fists. Then what do we do? Mira turned to him. We show them I'm not what they fear. Tom blinked. How? I saved your life, she said. You didn't run from me. If others see that, maybe they will stop seeing me as a weapon. Tom was quiet for a moment, then said, You want to reveal yourself? I want to. Be seen as what I really am. They moved fast. Tom took the shuttle's message system and boosted it using the outpost's old antenna. Mira sent a clear video message to nearby colonies and ships. My name is Mira. I was created by those who feared me, but I am not your enemy. I saved a human, and he saved me. I want to live not as a weapon, but as someone who chooses peace. Then they waited. The military ship arrived an hour later. Soldiers landed in black suits with scanners and stun weapons. They spread across the outposts like shadows. One squad reached the shuttle. Tom stepped out with hands raised. I'm unarmed, he said. She's not a threat. Commander Bryn stepped forward. Step aside. That thing is military property. Tom shouted, She's a person. Behind him, Myra stepped into the light. Her wings folded around her. Her eyes glowed. But her face was calm. She did not run. She did not fight. She stood tall. The soldiers aimed their weapons. Cameras from nearby rescue drones, sent by curious news groups who received the signal, hovered above, recording everything. The world was watching. Stand down, Bryn ordered. One soldier lowered his gun. She's not attacking. Tom stepped beside her. She just wants to live. There was silence. Then a voice from one of the rescue drones said, We received the message. And many others did too. People are already talking. Bryn looked around. His hand tightened into a fist. But he could not shoot her. Not while the galaxy watched. That night, Mira sat beside Tom on the shuttle wing. She looked at the stars again. I wasn't supposed to feel this, she said, but I'm glad I do. Tom smiled. You weren't supposed to survive either, but you did. Mira looked at the sky and whispered, Maybe I'm more than they planned. End of part 3. The night air around Outpost 9 was heavy with tension. Mira and Tom sat quietly inside the half-fixed shuttle. Outside, soldiers moved through the base, scanning, watching, and reporting. Commander Bryn hadn't left yet, and Myra knew his silence. Wasn't a sign of peace. I don't trust him, Tom said, looking at the monitor that showed soldier movements. Mira nodded. He's waiting. Watching for what? For a reason to erase me. Inside the command tent nearby, Commander? Bryn stared at the drone footage again. He had watched Mira's message several times. Her words were calm. Her face was honest. To him, she was still a product, something built in a lab, not born. One officer entered the tent. Sir, more people have seen the message. A mining colony sent back a reply. They say, Myra has the right to live. Bryn's face stayed cold. Public sympathy's dangerous. But truth is more dangerous. He looked at a small black case beside him. Inside it was a manual controller tool that could activate the last drone hidden in the outpost. One that was built to do the final task, erase Project Myra permanently, no matter the cost. Bryn's fingers touched the case, but he didn't open it yet. Back at the shuttle, Tom kept working on the damaged thruster. Sparks flew as he rewired the power line. Mira stood outside watching the sky. The stars seemed closer tonight, like they were listening. I always dreamed of flying in open space, she said softly. Tom looked up. You still can. We just need a little more time. Mira turned. We might not get it. Just then loud. Alarms rang through the outpost. A voice came through every speaker. Warning. Unknown activation detected. It's an automated system online. Tom's eyes widened. What now? Mira looked up sharply. The drone. The last one. It was hidden. Deep mechanical sound echoed from the center of the outpost. A large section of the wall broke apart. Something massive stepped through. It was a black drone, taller than a tank, 4 legs, and 2 long arms that ended in energy blades. Its red eyes locked onto Mira immediately. Primary target. Project Mira. Eliminate. Tom grabbed Mira's hand. Run. They sprinted across the open yard. The giant drone charged after them, crushing stone and metal beneath its feet. Soldiers shouted. Some tried to block the machine, but it ignored them. Its orders were clear. Mira's wings opened halfway. She tried to fly, but pain still burned from her earlier injury. They ducked into an old hangar. The drone slashed through the wall behind. Them, Tom pointed. There's a fuel cart. Maybe we can trap it. Mira nodded. Let's try. Inside the hangar, Mira climbed onto the beams above. Tom pushed the cart full of fuel drums near the entrance. As the drone burst in, Mira dropped from above, slashing one of its sensors with her claws. Now, Tom. Tom rolled a spark grenade toward the cart and ducked behind a wall. Boom. As the explosion rocked the hangar, flames shot upward. The drone was pushed back, but it wasn't destroyed. It rose again, damaged but angry. Mira growled softly. It won't stop. Tom's voice shook. Then we need to. The battle outside drew the attention of the media drones and rescue crews that had landed nearby. One reporter watched through a screen as Mira stood in front of the giant machine. Shielding Tom, this is incredible, the reporter whispered. She's protecting him. She's not the threat. The footage was sent live across multiple stations, across human space. People began watching, and they were not afraid. Back. At the base, Mira was breathing hard. Her body hurt. Her wings drooped. Tom stood beside her. We can't win this by fighting. She looked at him. Then we ended another way. She ran toward the drone, not to destroy it, but to climb it. Her claws dug into its metal body. The machine swiped at her, but she was too fast. She reached the top and pulled open a panel. Inside was its control core. Mira closed her eyes. She focused. Her human mind and alien side connected in a strange balance. She touched the wires gently. A memory sparked, one of the scientists teaching her how. Machines think. She used that knowledge now. Within seconds, the drone shut down. Its red lights faded. The battlefield fell silent. The soldiers lowered their weapons. Tom ran to her. You did it. Mira slid down, tired but alive. I didn't destroy it. Stopped it. Commander Brent arrived, his face pale. You overrode its system, he asked. Mira nodded. You taught me once. They just didn't know I remembered. Brent looked around. Cameras pointed at him. Soldiers whispered. Even his officers were staring. He had lost control. Finally, he spoke. This is no longer a military matter. He turned and walked away. Mira watched him leave. He still fears me. Tom stood beside her. But the rest of them? They saw what really matters. Later, Mira stood on a hill above the outpost. Her wings moved in the cool wind. She looked at the stars. Tom joined her. The shuttle will be ready soon. I can take you somewhere safe. Mira shook her head slowly. I don't want to hide. I want to help. Tom looked at her with surprise. You want to be known? I want to be something new, she said. Not a project. Not a weapon. It's just Mira. Tom smiled. Then let's show them who you really are. End of part 4. The broken sky above Outpost 9 had cleared. The stars looked brighter now. But something even more powerful had begun. People were talking. News channels across nearby systems started showing clips of Mira, her wings, her glowing eyes, her calm voice, her decision not to destroy the drone but to stop it without violence. People were not calling her a monster anymore. They were calling her something else. The hybrid who chose peace. Inside the shuttle, Tom was working on the communication screen. A message had come in from a distant moon colonia, council of scientists and leaders who wanted to meet Myra. They say they don't believe the military story anymore, Tom told her. They want to hear from you. Myra sat near the window. Staring out, do they want to test me again? Tom shook his head. No, they want to understand. Maybe they want to help. Myra stayed quiet for a moment. Then I'll speak. A few hours later, a peaceful ship arrived at Outpost 9. It wasn't large, and it didn't carry weapons. Inside were 3 people, an old scientist, a young historian, and a medical officer. Their names were Dr. Hall, Nira, and Sam L. They stepped off the ship slowly, hands raised, showing respect. Dr. Hall spoke first. We are not here to judge. We only want the truth. Myra walked toward them, her wings folded behind her. I will give it to you. They sat in the old outpost's meeting room, dusty but safe. Tom stood nearby, watching carefully. Dr. Hall turned on a small recorder. You were part of a secret program. What can you tell us? Myra took a breath. I was created from a mix of human DNA and alien biology. The goal was to build someone who could survive in deep space, in places where humans cannot live. Nira asked softly, and how did they treat you? Myra looked down. At first, like a child, they taught me things, gave me books, asked me questions. But when I started asking my own questions, everything changed. Dr. Hall nodded. You became more human than they wanted, yes, Myra said. I felt things. I wanted to choose. But they didn't want a person. They wanted. Atul Samel, the medical officer, leaned forward. Do you feel pain? Emotion? Myra looked at him. I feel more than they ever expected. The room was quiet. Outside, more messages began pouring in. People from nearby colonies, space stations, even Earth, were talking. Some were afraid. Some were angry. But many were curious. They wanted to know, could someone like Myra exist peacefully among humans? Tom spoke up in the meeting. She saved my life twice. She had the power to destroy the drone, to destroy me, but she didn't. Dr. Nevea. Hall looked at Myra. If we gave you a chance, what would you do with it? Myra stood slowly. I would help. I was made to survive danger. I can go where others can't, but I want to choose how I use that strength. That evening, Myra walked alone to the edge of a cliff behind the outpost. Below, rocks stretched into shadow and wind blew across her wings. Tom joined her. Told them the truth. I was afraid, Myra admitted, but I didn't want to lie. Not anymore. You think they'll believe you? Some will. Some won't. That's how humans are, right? Tom smiled. Yes, but when one human speaks truth with courage, others follow. She turned toward him. Will you stay with me? Tom nodded. As long as I'm breathing. Elsewhere, in a quiet control room aboard the old military ship, Commander Bryn sat alone. The soldier beside him said, Sir, public pressure is growing. They want answers. Bryn's face was cold. Shut it down. All of it, but sir, she's dangerous. The soldier hesitated. Or maybe we were wrong. Bryn turned. Sharply, she's proof we broke the rules of life itself. If the people accept her, they'll question everything. He opened a secure file and stared at a list of old hidden labs. Then quietly he said, There are more like her. Out. Or there were. Back at the outpost, Myra sat beside Tom near the fire they built from old fuel packs. The stars above seemed endless. I used to stare at walls, Myra said. I thought I would die without ever seeing the sky. Tom looked up. Now you're free, and people are listening. Myra's voice was steady. But the danger isn't gone. The truth is, out now. Others will try to silence it. Tom touched her hand gently. Then we face it together. The next day, a call came from the moon colony. The council had voted. Dr. Hall gave the message to Myra in person. They have agreed to let you speak publicly, to share your story, not as a test subject, but as a witness. Mira blinked. You trust me? Not everyone. But enough people now believe you deserve a choice. Myra stood tall. Then I will speak. As Tom prepared the shuttle, the cell where she was locked and the pit where they left her to die. She didn't cry. She didn't look back with hate. She simply whispered, "Thank you for making me strong." They launched quietly into orbit. The stars welcomed her like old friends. And on the screen in front of her, the message came in. "Welcome, Mira. The galaxy is waiting to hear your voice." End of Part 5. The peaceful silence of the mining colony moon was broken by the sudden arrival of a military fleet. Their ships circled low, dark against the bright surface below. Word had spread quickly about Mira. Many believed in her, but not everyone, Commander. Bren, unwilling to accept defeat, had sent Hunter Squad Theta, an elite team trained to track and destroy anything seen as a threat to human safety. They landed with swift precision, their black suits shining under the moon's twin suns. At the colony, Mira and Tom watched the fleet arrive from the edge of a rocky cliff. Mira's wings fluttered nervously. "They won't give up," Tom said softly. Mira's eyes narrowed. "I don't want to fight again." Tom took her hand. "Maybe we don't have to." The colony was home to miners and their families, who worked hard to gather rare metals. When Myra first arrived, she stayed hidden in the shadows. Watching the people from afar, she saw children laughing, workers sharing meals, and families dreaming of better futures. One afternoon, while walking near the mining tunnels, Mira heard a cry. A small boy had fallen into a deep, unstable shaft. Dust and rocks tumbled down after him. Without hesitation, Mira ran to the edge. Her wings spread wide to balance as she climbed down the rough walls. Her claws dug into the rock as she reached the frightened child. "Hold still," she whispered, lifting him gently. Tom arrived just as Mira pulled the boy out safely. The miners watched in shock and awe. One man stepped forward. "What are you?" Myra smiled softly. "I am Myra. I want to help." The news spread fast. A video taken by a miner showed Myra's rescue and quickly went viral across human colonies. People began asking, is she a monster or a protector? But Hunter Squad Theta was already on their way. The squad leader, Lieutenant Kara, was known for her sharp mind and strict loyalty to orders. She didn't know Mira personally, only the reports that called her dangerous. Yet, when she arrived and saw Mira helping the colony, her thoughts wavered. She called Tom and Mira to meet her privately. "I was sent to capture you," Kara said honestly. "But I want to hear your side." Mira nodded. "I want to show you who I am." In the meeting, Mira told her story again, how she was made, locked away, left to die, and how Tom saved her. She spoke of her hopes for peace and trust. Lieutenant Kara listened quietly. She asked questions but did not lower her weapon. After a long pause, she said, "Orders are orders." "But I see you don't want war," Tom smiled. "Neither do we." Kara looked at Mira. "If you truly want peace, prove it." Suddenly, the colony was hit by a mining accident. A tunnel collapsed, trapping dozens underground. Mira didn't hesitate. She flew into the dark shafts with Tom and the rescue teams. Her wings helped her fly over dangerous gaps. Her alien strength moved heavy rocks, Her sharp hearing found lost miners. She worked tirelessly through the night. When the last miner was safe, the crowd cheered. Lieutenant Kara's eyes softened. She spoke to her squad. This changes things. She turned to Mira. You've saved lives today. Maybe we need to rethink what you are. Mira looked at her. I want to live and protect, not destroy. Kara nodded slowly. Then you're not the enemy. The video of Mira's rescue spread quickly, across the stars. People began to see her as a symbol of hope, a bridge between alien and human. Mira stood on a small hill near the colony, looking at the sunset. Tom stood beside her. We're not safe yet, Mira said, but maybe this is a new beginning. Tom smiled. Together, we can face whatever comes next. End of Part 6. The news of Mira's rescue and heroism spread across many planets and space stations. People were talking. Some still feared her, but many saw hope in her story. The hybrid who had been left to die was now a symbol of strength, courage, and choice. At the mining colony, life began to change. Mira stood at the edge of a small hill, her wings folded behind her. The twin suns were setting, casting orange light across the rocky land. Tom stood next to her, watching the horizon. I never thought I would see this, Tom said quietly. Mira smiled gently. Neither did I. In the week since the rescue, Myra had met many people. Scientists who wanted to help her control her powers, children who wanted to know if she could really fly, and leaders who asked if she would join them to protect others. But Myra wanted something simple: to be free. I don't want to be a soldier or a weapon, she told Tom one night. I want to explore the stars, to find my place. Tom nodded. And you will. I'll be with you. However, peace was still fragile. Commander Bren's forces were still active in secret. They did not give up on their plan to control or destroy Mira, but their time was running out. Public support was too strong, and many soldiers began to question their orders. One day, Lieutenant Kara contacted Mira. We want to help, she said. We believe you can change things. We can work together. Mira looked at the message and smiled. This is a new beginning, she said. As Mira prepared to leave the mining colony, a celebration was held. People from many worlds came to honor her courage. She spoke to the crowd with clear voice and steady eyes. I was made to be something I did not want. But now I choose who I am. I choose peace. I choose hope. The crowd cheered. Children waved small flags. Adults clapped. Mira felt the warmth of belonging for the first time. Before she left, Mira and Tom stood on the colony's launch platform. The shuttle was ready. Engines hummed softly. Tom turned to her. Where will you go? Mira looked up at the stars. Anywhere. Everywhere. Wherever I am needed. Tom smiled. Then I will go with you. She nodded. Together. As the shuttle lifted off, the colony watched. Mira's wings spread wide inside the ship. She looked out at the stars again. This time she was not alone. She was free. Far away, Commander Bren watched the broadcast with clenched fists. But deep inside he knew the world had changed. The hybrid who was supposed to die had become a symbol of hope. Mira whispered softly, "This is only the beginning." And the stars welcomed her with open light. End of story.